I remember you. Hey, you were a person with a warm smile. Hey, why did you never go meet it even though you created it? But hey, surely you already know. Did you put in all that work for just a simple vending machine that dispenses soda at the press of a button? At the very least, you should give it a name. There is nothing I can do even if you put an expression like that. It's an unspoken rule that the creator names their creation. Don't dump your job on someone else. You're the designer. Go ahead and tell the machine its name. There, the door over there. Well, that task I gave you was pretty easy, don't you think? Though, a couple of times you were too indecisive and passive. Next time you should. Gebura, about this suppression plan you've sent me, don't you think the scale is a bit too grand? Alright, now move along if you've spat out what you needed to do. Come on, you know a similar incident happened before. I'm the head of the welfare team after all, so I just felt I should point it out. Yeah, got it. How about you head on back to your department now and lap up that coffee you love so much. Just another thing, some of the ego in my department seems to be malfunctioning. I'm sure you had nothing to do with it, right? Although your recent suppression was strangely quick. I'll be sure to make it up to you. But if you press any further on this, those ego you value so much may be pointed at your head. Aye, I'll be on my way then. Man, why not just draw a sword stick? The companions I have are either a hot-headed warmonger or some weird kids with unreadable minds. It's been a while since I came down to the middle there. Long time no see, Chesed. Oh ho, are you here to see Gebura? Careful what you say, you may just end up with a hole in your head. Take care. Is that true, Gebura? Oh, get lost, Chesed. Hod, what brings you here? So, it's about the suggestions you made involving the abnormality breach training. I feel it needs some adjusting. Go on. Well, if we were to engage in a head-on assault like you suggested, our employees would suffer heavy casualties around this section. I believe if we change the training plan like so to a more defensive stance here, the casualties would be lower. Does it seem alright? But then, aren't we being too nice to those abnormalities with this kind of response? I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Forget it. Since you're the head of the training team, your opinion is final, right? I am, well, as long as you're willing to. Do it. Oh, thank you. See you later. Hod. Huh? Yes? You forgot your report. Ah, I could have lost it. Phew. I thought you were gonna shoot me in the head like Chesed said. Thanks again. Hod will always be seen in her pre-suppression form, not her true form, regardless if you completed her suppression or not. We already have her suppression, so logically, we should be seeing her and that's what she actually appears. I don't know, just hand wave that somehow in your head. They didn't want to change the cutscene, I guess. Or they couldn't, I don't know how the game's programmed. Hod's too soft. If I were the head of the training team, I'd never act like her. And now it's the same as last day, except wall abnormalities instead of, what was the word? Not a left, HE or lower. They can still be the same one over and over, and we do have a pretty easy to let out wall abnormality, so I will probably just do that one over and over. So, Gebura's upgrades. Employee execution bullets allow you to instantly kill any employee without it counting as a death for things like Big Bird. They're very, very good for a lot of reasons, and this will be our first upgrade we take. Slow bullets, these make abnormalities or panicking employees move like at half speed. This is also good, but it's the most situational of all of our stuff. And then rabbits, which can be contacted once a day, and they basically will fight anything in the department they're contacted to, including your employees, and they will kill them if you have employees in that department. They're also very good. Gebura's upgrades in general are super strong. Better than Chesed's, but Chesed's missions can be done during suppressions and Gebura's can't, so that's why I did them in this order. It'll probably go execution, rabbits, slow, just because those are the order I tend to use them the most in. We really want these though, and you will see why today. Welcome back to the Lobotomy Corp. We've got just new setup slightly. Shepard's gonna be training with this boy. Marie's gonna be working on a new abnormality. We're gonna have Ebony move down here to work with Riding Hood, and Pesco's gonna be working with this. Corbin's gonna be doing nothing, especially is gonna be working with Letitia or something. Actually, Big Bird is probably a better idea. Big Bird, yeah. And and we're gonna let out, this guy, and I might have to hire another new employee who's specially, because I just realized that I might not be able to let it out on purpose, which is the entire point of, hiring a new employee. Oops. Oh well. Especially is the last custom employee submitted by Tumblebug backer too. So we're out of those now. Let us do the day. Or possibly have a jump cut to be hiring another person. Clouded Monk is a Wa abnormality that does white damage. It has a Quillthought counter of 3, which lowers on a medium chance on a normal result. When it gets a bad result, when an abnormality we haven't seen passes by its containment room, and by 1 each time 10 employees die. As a reminder, this makes it a member of the Clerk's Right abnormalities, and the upgrade we just got, Execution Bullets, is not recognized in this death counter. So you can, by killing employees who are about to die, you can prevent its counter from having a chance to lower. Although it requires being pretty vigilant as to what's going on with your clerks. It responds well to insight, as well as attachment and repression, but it's not really a great trainer for anything except repression, which is only a 40% at maximum. This is because, well, it doesn't do red damage, so it doesn't train the damage modifier for attachment very well, and it heals at the end of an insight work if it gets a good. When its Quillthought counter is depleted, it becomes a demon and exits its containment unit. It switches to doing red damage to employees, and every time it loses 100 HP, it will go into a charging stance. After a few seconds, it will charge forward, and the first employee it hits will take 250 red damage, and then it will heal for about 120 HP. This can be prevented by having all the employees fighting it move out of the room when it enters the charge stance, or move behind it. It's pretty easy to dodge. Overall, it's not really a threat when it breaches. Its equipment is not very good. Its weapon only does 3 to 4 damage, which is sad because it is a spear type weapon, and normally spear types are pretty strong. It's just its damage range is way too small. I don't know why I did that. It doesn't even have a special effect. Like, what happened here? Its suit is okay, though. You get 2 copies of it, which is really the shining selling point here, and the selling point of the abnormality as a whole, which is kind of bad because the suit is just okay. This is because it's also weak to white and pale, instead of just weak to pale. However, it does have good red and black defenses, which are the most important 2 defenses. Its gift has no special effect, so it's not really worth farming for. Overall, Clouded Monk is an abnormality that lacks any good selling points, which is a shame because I really like it aesthetically. Oh well. And just one quick failure here. We've had a little bit of somebody gets eaten by DRV moments. Just a brief error in that it spawned directly on top of someone while they were exiting. Hooray. Amazing. So, as you may have seen, my strategy for today has a very slight risk that DRV will spawn on top of someone, but it only happened the one time, so we should be fine. But, I mean, I didn't cut to another failure, so you know it only happened the one time, because my videos have a very predictable structure. Oh well. The basic plan for today is pretty similar to yesterday. We're amassing an army outside of the abnormality we were repeatedly fighting. It's a bit larger because DRV is a wall and has more health and more damage potential. And additionally, we were having Goom sit outside of Little Reds because he can solo her. We are actually working Little Red today, so we do need to make sure that whoever's working on her is not working on her when we're releasing DRV for the 3rd time, otherwise they will probably be killed, because they only have 1 health, and Little Red does a lot of damage pretty fast when she breaches. But essentially, the plan for today is basically just yesterday again. Which is pretty typical for Gebura's missions, unless you do something really dumb, or you want to finish fast, which, because her next mission is a bit of a doozy, but you'll see in the next video what I mean by that. DRV is pretty easy to let out on purpose, as long as you have somebody with low temperance working on it. Heck, if you get a bad, you get 2 The close-off counter lowers for the price of 1 work. And DRV's already out for the first time. Since we have 2 Clerks' Rights abnormalities now, it's even more important to focus on not letting the abnormalities kill Clerks as much as possible, just to reduce the amount of breaches you deal with in a day. At least I think it is. Neither of them is super hard to deal with. I'm really bad at dealing with big birds because I'm an idiot, and normally it'll kill one of my agents because I'm impatient, but it's really easy to deal with as long as you just are not impatient. I'm executing that clerk with execution bullets at the counters of Big Bird and what's his face? Clouded Monk don't lower. How many times have I said what's his face this Let's Play? Probably way more than Twisty Bolt would. So the basic plan for DRV breaches: send an entire army after it, including Eke, who does red damage and doesn't really do anything of note because red damage does not affect DRV, and then execute any clerks who walk in front of it. Execution bullets, as I stated earlier, they do not, in fact, affect the close-off counters of Clerks' Rights abnormalities. That is the main use of them, because a lot of clerks tend to die, and if we just let it happen, a lot of Clerks' Rights abnormalities would breach, and there is more than one Aleph that is a Clerks' Rights abnormality, which would be problematic, to say the least, if those kept breaching. We don't have either of them, because we have no Alephs right now, but they do exist in the game. That is why execution bullets are extremely useful. That and a couple of other abnormalities that really want them to work with. We've seen one of them pop up in the, we've seen both of them pop up in the boxes a couple of times, but I didn't really mention that we wanted the bullets yet because I didn't want to spoil that they existed. I believe one of them is one of the magical girls, and I believe I stated that we just didn't have the upgrade that would make working her easy, or not incredibly annoying at the moment. There are 3 magical girls, but unlike they were meant to have an event like the birds do. I keep alluding to the birds event, don't worry, it'll pop up very soon. But the magical girls were also meant to have one. We have seen none of the magical girls yet, it just isn't in the game because they couldn't do it. You do get to see what is in Ruina though, what would have popped out. DRV is not a threatening breach to deal with. Honestly, the hardest part about fighting DRV is just figuring out where it went after it breaches. It just walks forward. It's not really a super threatening attack. Got a triple kill on some clerks there. You can kill multiple clerks with one execution blow as long as they're all overlapping their hitboxes. You can also kill agents with execution bullets, but I don't want to do that because that would be really dumb. That's the second DRV breach. After one more, Little Red will come out. I tend to try to get Gebura's missions done fast and early in the day, just because it's kind of annoying doing it later on. This is like one of the few things that could possibly kill someone, is purposely letting out an abnormality. Our facility's pretty hardy by this point. I mean, it's not super great because we have a dearth. Is that the word I'm trying to think of? We have a limited supply of Aleph gear, which is in general highly coveted, as you might have noticed by the fact that Goom can like solo a ton of stuff just with his set. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. And I mean, for what I'm doing tomorrow, I'm pretty glad I don't have any left, so I guess it kind of works out. Almost sent someone to do repression. This is just me being an idiot. I don't know why I did that. I'm still trying to figure out what is a good thing to train Alex's repression on. I think I'll go with Shark Dreaming Current, just because it doesn't have the lower repression at level 1 and 2 like Snow White's Apple and DRV do. Alex is kind of in an unfortunate situation because he's one of the last agents hired before HUD's meltdown. I gotta say, I really appreciate the 2 levels of Justice, just because so many Justice trainers need 3 Justice to be efficient at the higher levels. And Justice is more expensive to lob up than other stats. We hit first trumpet because 2 walls broke out at the same time. I mean, neither of them's really a threat, but 2 walls did break out at the same time. Honestly, I kind of wish the trumpet system was like more generous as to threat level, because I really like the trumpet songs and they barely play in the game. I think I may have mentioned that a couple of times before, but like if I were developed the game, I probably would make it so just like this would be a second trumpet. Like you barely hear 3 trumpets, my favorite song in the dang game. We'll probably only hear it once the entire Let's Play. Actually, second trumpet's probably my favorite. Third trumpet's my favorite trumpet in Ruina, not that, because I don't really like the first trumpet and second trumpet remixes that much. But third trumpet remix is very good. Luckily for this mission, Little Red does count as a wall abnormality because she is a wall abnormality. So we now have 4 done. And now I will cut us doing the same thing with DRV again, because we've seen it 3 times. I'll just cut to the very end of the day, pretty much. We dealt with a couple of ordeals, but nothing too interesting. It was just a Crimson Noon and a Violet Dawn. And neither of them is really a threat for our facility. And they both just kind of exist. The only thing of note that happened during the Crimson Noon was Goom killed one of the Dawns that spawned from it so fast I didn't even see it spawn, and I got really confused as to where the third one was. Shepard takes a lot of damage from Big Bad and Wilby Wolf, but he's fine. I think next time I send someone to train with it, I'll probably have them wear Scarecrow's Eco instead of Woodsman's, just because Woodsman's doesn't have a ton of red resist. It only has 0.8, and Scarecrow's is 0.6. And kind of was a bit close to death, a bit closer than I would have appreciated or wanted. But now Gebura's mission has been done because we did the 1 DRV suppression off screen. We have just the rest of the day to get into training. And I'm about to end the day because I just didn't feel like going further. Could have done a bit more vision training, but pretty much since I don't typically switch like who's working on what midway through the day, I figured everyone was about to cap anyway, just in my heart of hearts. It's called a low effort working situation. Oh, we'll see a lot of Big Bird tomorrow though. Don't worry if you're a big Big Bird fan. And so we've had more decent growth today with another capping of Fortitude by Shepard, Prudence by Pesca, not Justice by Li Chang, although it's level 5 now, Fortitude by Ebony, and almost Prudence and level 5 Temperance by Specialty. Very good workday overall. And 1 more tool for the road. I mean, not really 1 more because we have like 2 more departments, but 1 more for right now. Oh, 995. This bracelet should not forgive those who hold greed in their hearts. Thus, it might only be worn by those in true need. This is a test that also does absolutely nothing beneficial because it is glitched, but also doesn't really do that much against you because it is glitched. Actually, the glitch only hurts you because its kill function still works. Haha. T986. This one's banned. T0982. It literally makes itself into the safest place on Earth. This is, I believe, it's an HE that is pretty funny and has a specific later game, not really late game, cheese tactic you can do with it for 1 specific mission. And I probably roll it because I rolled a 1-3. Yeah, I just rolled it. And now it is time for piano lore. An old woman with a piano at her side. Her eyes are usually closed. She only nods instead of speaking, but on rare occasions, she will faintly smile. Excerpt from a newspaper article. The world's greatest pianist, Redacted, always gave her best performances in playing the sonata, her favorite piece. Many praised her excellent skill. Some couldn't even stay seated when she played the 3rd movement because of the overflowing energy and madness that would come of her performance. In her now empty residence from which she left for the moon lies the piano she played since childhood, and shrunken heads which allowed us to delve into her mind. Excerpt of audio recorded of employee redacted's counseling. I mean, we didn't see anything else when we came to secure it. There was just some lady sitting there. It's like she'd been waiting for us to come. What happened when one of us approached her? Well, that guy didn't know the first thing of our music, but before we knew it, he was playing the first movement of the sonata, and the lady smiled. To be honest, I don't think I'll ever hear her piano performance as beautiful as what I heard then than ever again. We never got to see that guy again. That's why I need that testimony, right? Because I played the third movement. I don't know how or why it makes you play. Your hands just move and you feel euphoric while playing it. Everything around you fades away. It's just you and the piano. After I finished playing, exhausted, I realized that my feet had been pressing down on weren't pedals, but severed heads. The moon represents the human psyche. They often say the moon is beautiful. When enough time has passed, when you look on it and see what kind of face it truly wears, you realize you are madly in love with something so broken and shattered. In the end, we all become like the moon, all because we couldn't bear ourselves. What a beautiful story.